Little preview of how I teach the writing process in my English 100 class, specifically for the first paper. I try to make it as methodical at first, going over every step, and then the essays after that, we kind of progress and do things a little bit differently um, and spend kind of less time on the actual process. But for instance, so in Module 2, I kind of start off the writing process with the reading assignment, and the reading assignment looks something like this, where they do a pre-reading free write. They do annotation charts in this case on Frederick Douglass's Learning How to Read and Write and Malcolm X's A Homemade Education. At first, I allow them to kind of make any annotations they want just to get used to annotating. But later on, we tend to start focusing in on kind of golden lines, if you will, or focus kind of techniques that they use or rhetorical strategies. And then the bottom, there's kind of post-reading discussion questions, which makes them critically think about the texts, and then also kind of it's almost like a initial pre-write brainstorm because all these discussion questions helps them think about the essay that's coming up. So every assignment that's linked to that is a discussion board. So they then discuss that reading assignment, and it'll look something like this. They discuss certain annotations that they made and a certain discussion question that they like to further kind of contribute to the discussion of the readings. Okay, and then they kind of jump into the actual writing of the essay, and I split that into two parts: the writing of the actual essay, and then in Module 4, we focus on doing revision or revising, editing, and proofreading, which I call doing reps, like doing reps in the gym makes your body stronger, doing reps on your paper makes your paper stronger. So as you can see, I kind of like I said before, go through every step of the writing process pretty methodically, step by step. So they start off with a pre-write, which I teach them how to do it through Microsoft Word or Google Docs, and utilize technological tools to create a mind map or a pre-write instead of just a handwritten one. And then they also kind of share it and discuss it on the discussion board. And it looks something like, it becomes something like this. This is an example of a student in my Cypress College class. This is one or her pre-write. This is another pre-write she did. And then this is her outline. So they share either their Word doc on it, or they share their Google Doc or Google Drive with their classmates to respond to, give feedback, and so forth. Let's see. They also do that with their introduction paragraphs, their body paragraphs, their theses, and sometimes I make their thesis discussions on the collaborations, Google Shared Doc. So they post their theses and they can workshop each other's theses on the collaboration Google Doc. All right. So in Module 4, when they have their rough draft completed, then we do the editing. I teach them also how to edit using their Microsoft Doc or Google Doc editing tools, so they know how to use technology to provide feedback instead of just handwritten versions. We go over sample essays as well to look at weaker student essays versus good, strong student essays, so they can see the differences and avoid the weaknesses and incorporate or adopt the strengths. We do at least 1 or 2 workshops where they load it up to the discussion board, and they give feedback and critique. There are rough drafts there using the rubric that I provide, and they do a little final draft and reflection for that particular unit. Later on, I also, instead of doing their own individual pre-writes, I have them also do a collaboration Google Doc pre-write. For instance, for the lens paper, they load it all on the shared Google Doc. And then everything also connects to not only to the discussion board, but to the files as well. Every unit is kind of organized in this way with every module and the files for each unit or each module within these folders. All right, I hope that helps. Thank you.